Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to talk all about one of my more anticipated games of 2023. Really, you guys are going to hear me say that 6 or 7 times because I'm really excited for all of the games that are coming in 2023. It really seems like we're hitting a new era of gaming. Obviously, we have the release of Forspoken in a few weeks. While I would love to talk about that game's system requirements, as of this video, we don't have the system requirements for that game, as I mentioned recently, but what we do have is the system requirements for a game I am super excited about coming very soon. That is the Dead Space remake, baby. Dead Space is back after such a long absence. I know people have their divisive opinions over Dead Space 3, but Dead Space 1 was a fantastic game. Dead Space 2 was also a fantastic game, which is very relevant when we talk about this release of the Dead Space remake on PC. Want to go over, most importantly, the system requirements if you can run the game, and then I also want to give you some pieces of information that you should know. Okay, first of all, if you're looking to buy Dead Space, the remake on PC, you should know that if you pre-order the game, you do get a free copy of Dead Space 2. Really, that's not a reason to pre-order the game. Dead Space 2 is a game that's been given away on like GOG, I believe, and through like Prime Gaming, and it's been in various Humble Bundles in the past, I believe, as well, and it's a game that goes on sale for like, $5. So it's not like it's a super value incentive to pre-order the game. The MSRP is $19.99, but bro, who's buying like 10-year-old games at MSRP? Nobody. But if you're gonna buy the game anyway, getting a copy of Dead Space 2, which, to be honest, Dead Space 2 was a game I enjoyed even more than Dead Space 1. Love Dead Space 1, but Dead Space 2 was awesome. So, something to consider if you don't have a copy on PC. You can get it with your pre-order of Dead Space 2. Now, it should be noted, you'll get the copy of Dead Space 2 when the remake launches on January 27th. If you decide to ultimately refund the game, I do believe you would be revoked access of Dead Space 2 as well. So just bear that in mind. As far as buying the game, price points are this. The remake is $59.99. There is a digital deluxe edition available for $69.99. With the digital deluxe edition, you'll get various in-game items, different skins, things of that nature. You'll get 5 exclusive cosmetics, 3 unique suits, and 2 suit textures. It's everything you need to look at your best while surviving the horrors aboard the USG Ishimura. That's officially noted on the Steam page. So there you go with that. Obviously, this is a ground-up remake, rebuilding of the very first Dead Space game that is staying true to the original. The original was a fantastic game in 2008, and honestly still holds up pretty well. I played the original Dead Space not too long ago. I want to say like 3 or 4 years ago, and I was like, damn, this game still holds up pretty darn well. But is the Dead Space remake something you're going to be able to run on your PC? Let's go over the system requirements. Let's start things off with the minimum requirements. You're looking at a Ryzen 5 2600X or a Core i5 8600. So a few generations old on both of those CPUs, so take that for what you will. Minimum RAM requirement. I find this rather interesting. I mean, this is becoming more and more of a standard, but Dead Space Remake is one of the first games, and one of the first of many, I'm sure, to come, that does have 16 gigabytes just outright listed in minimum. Remember that this is a game that's exclusive to next generation platforms. Dead Space Remake will not be getting a release on PlayStation 4 nor the Xbox One. So, 16 gigabytes of RAM is becoming something that most PCs, most mid-level and high-level PCs are going the 16 gigabyte route. Really, if you're going to the high-level tier, and, it's subjective what you consider high-level, what you consider mid-level, that's going to vary person to person, but a lot of high-level PCs are going to go the 32 gigabyte route, and 32 gigabytes is becoming more and more of a standard to have. As far as 32 gigabytes being recommended, I think we're a ways away from that, but just having 32 gigabytes of RAM is becoming something we're seeing be a standard in a lot of higher end builds, much like how 16 gigabytes has been the standard in a lot of higher end builds well before 16 gigabytes was across the board recommended across every game. Where nowadays, the majority of top-level releases are going to be recommending 16 gigabytes of RAM. Spoiler alert as far as that's concerned. Minimum GPU requirement, what's most important, AMD RX 5700 or the GTX 1070. The 1070 still kicking around, which is great to see. I want to say the 1070 came out back in 2015, like right around that range. So you're talking about a GPU that is coming up on like 8 years old. So the fact is, A GPU like that being minimum, I think, is quite impressive. I want to say the 970 came out in 2014, so the 1070 being 2015 would make sense in that regard. RX 5700 as well. Recommended, let's go here. Ryzen 5 5600X or a Core i5 11600K. So you're looking at relatively modern mid-level CPUs. You know, that $250 range CPU, Ryzen 5 5600X or a Core i5 11600, like, those are pretty premier CPUs. Like, I wouldn't say they're top-of-the-line CPUs, but they are relatively premier in the sense that they aren't super old CPUs or anything like that. The Ryzen 5 5600X in particular came out at the end of 2020, and the i5 11600K is no slouch either, so yeah, pretty CPU oriented there. 16 gigabytes of RAM is recommended as well. I like to see that at least. Minimum being 16 gigabytes. Let's keep recommended at 16 gigabytes as well. I'm sure people are going to try to push the game on the deck and whatnot, but recommended being 16 gigabytes, I think, is going to be something you're going to see pretty regularly. I think more likely than not, maybe some super intensive games, you'll see them recommend 24 gigabytes. I think that's the next threshold we're going to hit. I don't think we're going to jump right to 32 right away, but the jump to 24 might be looming, maybe even by early 24. But in this case, 16 gigabytes of RAM recommended seems a-okay to me. Recommended GPU, RX 6700 XT or an RTX 2070. So again, like, you might say, hey, we're at the 4000 series of RTX GPUs. First of all, like, the commoners like us, we're not getting those GPUs, but the 2000 series GPU, I think, is a GPU that a lot of people have probably kind of settled with. If you were able to get a 3000 series GPU before everything went to hell, good on you. Maybe you jumped to a 3000 series GPU recently, so you'll be good in that regard. Let's say you have a 3060 or a 3070. Oh, you'll be good all day long. And then on the AMD side, kind of the similar story. But yeah, 2070 is still a monster of a GPU. Let's not get it twisted. Maybe monster is pushing it a little bit, but, you know, I like to think about gaming at 1440p and getting 60 frames per second, and the 2070 is still no slouch when it comes to that. And the 2070, all things considered, is still a relatively recent GPU release, and, you know, you could say it's X amount of years old, but we kind of have to take a good portion of those years as a wash when the world went to hell. So, to me, the 2070 is still a premier GPU, but I have, you know, maybe a little bit lower expectations than a lot of other people. As far as system storage goes, 50 gigabytes of storage is what's noted. Probably will end up being a little bit less than that. And yeah, those are your system requirements for the Dead Space remake. Super excited for this, hoping it's a quality port. I have faith in Motive Studios. I think they're going to do a fairly good job with it, and hopefully they can keep the momentum rolling because EA is putting a lot of faith in Motive as a whole. I believe they're going to be working on a Marvel title. I don't recall off the top of my head if that's the Iron Man game, but yeah, Motive's gonna have a couple busy years, especially because, you know, they were entrusted to do this Dead Space remake. Let's see if this'll click, because if this does commercially well, hopefully that opens the floodgates for more Dead Space content in the future. And by the way, this is a game that's $70 on consoles. Thankfully on PC, we're still sticking with the $60 price tag. Kind of interesting because EA titles, it's not a formality that they aren't gonna go the $70 route on PC. In fact, Need for Speed Unbound is $70. I would fully expect Star Wars Jedi Survivor to be $70 as well. So kind of interesting that Dead Space is $60 here. But that is going to do it for me. Definitely let me know your guys' excitement level for the Dead Space remake. I am super excited for the game. Went through all the information. Hopefully you guys can run the game no problem on your PC. But the game does drop on January 27th. Be on the lookout for that. I can't wait to cover the game. Can't wait to play the game more than anything. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.